You have a 2-node cluster with nodes Mars and Venus. Given the following output: hash hostname Mars hash vxdg list name state hydrogen enabled. B. Mars NFSG enabled. Venus. Note the ID of disk group NFSDG. Which statement is correct? Option A. The ID of NFSDG looks incorrect. You should contact Sun support for further investigation. Option B. Disk group NFSDG was previously imported by node Venus and now is imported on node Mars. The ID just reports the history. Option C. Disk group NFSDG is currently imported on node Mars. The ID just reflects the node where the disk group was initially created. There is no problem. Option D. Disk group NFSDG seems to have a problem, since it is reported to be imported on node Mars, but still carries an ID from Venus. So you might have to suspect data corruption. The correct answer is option C. Which two statements describe reasons for using the Sun Cluster Manager graphical application to manage the cluster? Choose 2. Option A. It shows the status of the cluster by highlighting faulted components, without the user having to manually refresh the display. Option B. It can draw pictures of some of the hardware and other configured elements of your cluster. Option C. It has its own authentication mechanism separate from the node on which it is running. Users can log in with usernames different than those on the node, and thus be authorized to accomplish tasks that they cannot accomplish on the command line. Option D. It contains wizards to guide you through properly configuring IPMP on your public network. The correct answer is option A, B. Sun Cluster uses an object-oriented command line interface (CLI) to manage the cluster. The cluster administrator is on-site with the customer and wants to see how the cluster was configured. Which command will be used to display the cluster configuration? Option A. Cl node list. Option B. Cl device list. Option C. Cluster show. Option D. Cluster status. The correct answer is option C. A cluster administrator wants to give the user pat rights to switch the resource groups in the cluster. Which task should the administrator perform? Option A. Assign the authorization solaris.cluster.admin to the user pat. Option B. Nothing, the authorization is by default part of the basic Solaris user profile. Option C. Roll out U1234D/export/home/clusuperarray solaris.cluster.modify user mod r/clusuperpat. Option D. Tell pat the URL for the Sun Java Web Console and allow the user to log in with their username and password. The correct answer is option A,